Welcome to the HR Fix, the HR podcast for HR professionals who want to grow and be the best. I'm Jude Fidler and I'll be your host. So come and join us on our journey as we change an entire industry. Come on, let's get started. We know that eagles have power, they have pride, and they have resilience. We know that they are pretty independent. We know that they're impressive. We know that they're confident. We know that they're a force to be reckoned with. And we're comparing that to HR professionals, maybe how we should be. But the thing that we came across and the thing that was really interesting to us is that eagles fly alone. And that's not unlike HR professionals. We know that to do a good job, we need to be different to everyone else. We know that we need to keep ourselves distinct. We need to keep ourselves separate from employees when it comes to things like Christmas parties, socializing, going out drinking with boys, all those sorts of things. Then we know that we can't mix. We know that we are not there to make friends. We know that socially we can't be the same. We can't be mixing with staff because we're the ones who have to sort out all the issues. And that can sometimes be a problem. But we want to take it one step further and we want to know that actually when there's a problem, when there's an issue, who can we go and talk to? Who can we trust? Who can we rely on? And that can be a huge problem for us. And that's one of the reasons that we created our membership, because we created a safe space for people to come and test their strategies and test out what it is that they need to be doing. They understand fully the issues before they go and do their work, before they go and do the job, that they then practice the process or they go through the motions of solving problems and employee issues. And that's a really important place to be because we know that the last person we can go and speak to is our bosses. Really, that's the only person that we can go and speak to inside of an organization to discuss a problem is with them. But then the last person that we want to know that we don't know what we're doing or that we need help or that we're not quite sure of what the process should be or the outcome, or we've got a different number of routes that we could go down, which one are we going to use? The last person we need to be debating that with or strategizing that with is the person who's instructing us. We know that we can go to family. We know that they'll listen to us and we know that they'll probably guide us. But we also know that they don't understand HR. We also know that they don't understand the problem. In fact, nobody who's not working inside of the business and understands the dynamics and the problems and the atmosphere, the culture, the values, nobody that doesn't understand that can probably be helping us. So we need people to have been through the same things that we've been through in order that they're going to help us. We know that there's other membership groups around, and I do want to offer a warning that other memberships, over the hours, we have a pact and it's no shame, no blame, no judgment. And I know that some people have come away from other groups and have been appalled at the way that they've been treated and that they've been told that they're doing the wrong thing when there's absolutely no chance of a solution, that they have to keep going down a certain road that they have to keep going down. You have to trust in the groups. I'm not saying come to us. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying make sure that if you're taking advice from whether it's an employment law helpline, whether it's solicitors, whether it's a membership group, whether it's advice online, whether it's even ACAS, you could use this even with ACAS or freebie help clinics, that there is loads of people out there who can help you. But you have to ensure that, firstly, that you've instructed them correctly, that you told them the right issues so they can give you the right answers. Don't hold anything back. But also that they understand that they aren't just a specialist who's been doing employment law or HR, but they're an expert. There's a difference between a specialist and an expert and who you go to for help, because you are trusting somebody with your reputation. We already keep saying on these podcasts that you are accountable for your work and nobody can take that away from you. It's your neck on the block. It's we talk about hanging fences and it's you who's in the firing line. You need to be, if you're going to other people to get advice or help or talk about strategy, you need to make sure that they are expert in what they're doing. And most memberships are not that. Most memberships will tell you you're doing the wrong thing, or they will advise you to go and use a process, or they'll start a debate on a different subject to help them or to help other people who are also in that chat room, and not about you. You need specific bespoke advice. Remember, your issue is not the same as anybody else's issue. And that is really, really important. Eagles fly alone. You are dealing with bespoke issues every single time that there is a problem, every single time that anything comes up. Okay. So we know you can't go to family. You can't go to your bosses. You can't necessarily go to other memberships. So where can you go? And what sort of questions, what sort of things are you asking to make sure that you can move forward? So the things that you need to know is before. I'm talking about the planning stage. I'm talking about before. You need to get advice before you start a process. Don't go afterwards. That's going to be too late. But beforehand, it's things like when you're on your own, when you're doing the process, we know that the timing of it, the decisions that you're making, the amount of investigations, how thorough you're being, if you're following the law, if you're following the process, if you need to be looking at the policies, what do the policies say? If it's a breach of contract, have you gone to the contractual clauses? All of these things that you're thinking about, you need to gather your evidence and you need to be understanding what your remit is before you enter the ring, before the show starts. And that is why you need to be understanding and getting strategy at the right time. Eagles fly alone. Yes, HR, when you're out there, you're on your own. But that is, you're going to be so much better controlled, so have so much better confidence, understand all the things that we just spoke about with eagles, being proud and being resilient. Once you have strategized what the risks are, you've risk assessed everything you're doing. I'm not talking about great big long, beautiful things on PowerPoints. I'm talking about just understood the issues and making sure that you understand where the risk is going to come, so you're prepared for that. What we first talked about in the first few podcasts about being 2 cars ahead. You've understood all that, you've strategized all that. You understand where the risk is and you understand where you can bring value. And that has shaped your strategy, and that you've been able to talk that through with someone else. Just being able to talk it through makes a huge difference. It means that you're not on your own, so that when you go out there and you're delivering it and you're doing it all by yourself, that means that actually you're in a better position to be able to do that. When I first heard about this phrase, and it was in a discussion a couple of days ago, about with a HR professional, and they were saying that eagles fly alone. And so I actually looked it up and I wanted to know what it meant. It was actually came up in a conversation to do with different contexts. And the actual phrase is used to say that eagles fly at a higher level. Literally, they fly in a different thermal. They fly at a higher altitude than other birds like sparrows or blackbirds. And it's actually quite a derogatory term because it means that we don't fly with other people. I don't want anybody to take that message from this. It's not that we don't hang around with other people, although we need to be independent, everything that we just discussed. It's not that we can't mix with those people or that we want to be seen in a different level. That's not what it is. That is not, we talk about perception and reality. That is not a perception that we want to, that's a perception that I think we've got now in HR, but that's not a perception that we want to adopt. The question and the point that I'm making is about when we do our work, that is when we are alone. Literally, we are on our own. And the way that we prevent that, and the way that we risk assess that, the way that we deal with that, we structure it, we prepare it, and we prepare ourselves, because it can be a really strange and scary place to be. But the way that we prepare that is 2 things. And that is preparation, and that is checking. And that's why I'm saying that we often need other people. We need to find somebody that we trust, whether or not that's your mentor. We talk about inside of bootcamp, we talk about peers and gurus, your peers and your gurus. Who can you use to check? Who do you respect? Who can you go to? Who's an expert? But it's these 2 things that you need: preparation and checking. And that is your toolkit. That is the tools that you need inside your bag and inside your HR toolkit to be able to have the confidence to move forward, to make sure that you are flying alone. Eagles fly alone, but HR can do it better. I hope you can incorporate that into your day. I hope that makes sense. Have a great day. Happy HRing.